So what are your thoughts on the verdict today? Was it something that you expected?
A little surprised, I would say, because I have not been very optimistic with the Constitutional Court. And if you look at the history of the court itself, the court has always been questioned about its neutralities and the way they interpret the law, the cases for those who are perceived or portrayed as a kind of anti-establishment or anti-power structure. So so when I first heard about the thing when you mentioned about Pita holding the chair, then I also thought that was the end. But then I think the way the story came out is very partly perhaps because the court might also want to appear neutral as well by outlining or putting things out about what he has done wrong and these kind of things. So at the end, then he was actually released from the group.
Actually, some political analysts, of course, and journalists, they compare Pita Limjaroenrat's case with Kun Thanathorn. So, of course, it's totally different there, as in what Pita said to the public that these two cases are unrelated. Do you think it's the same? You think in the same way?
I think to me, it's not quite about the law itself in Thailand, the way the case is, how the court handle the case. I think it also depends on public sentiment as well. And I think I would put it this way, because if you look at the political factors, that would also make the court consider that consequences. And so I think that might be another reason that we have seen the result as it is today, rather than looking at the law itself.
So now that he is cleared of all the charges, so how do you foresee Pita's political future and that of the Move Forward party?
Actually, he has never been out of politics, even when he was suspended from the House. And we have seen him going around across Thailand and doing activities. So he's always been part of the politics. But when this case ended, that is a good thing. I think at least it's re-energized the power or the movement of the opposition party in the House, and it would also make a big difference in the House now. With the Pita coming back. Of course, he is not a leader of the party at the moment, but then he is still the figure that I think the party would still want him to lead in the next election in 2027.
And even though the ITV case is over, there's still next week. So how do you foresee the outcome of next week's ruling of Section 112 on the Move Forward party?
I am rather positive with the next case more than the case of Pita this week, actually. I will explain that, because I think if they use Article 112 against Move Forward Party, this would also destroy the reputation of the government as well, because that is one of the main things that Thailand has always been questioned at the UPI, the United Nations Periodic Review on Human Rights, and international communities always question Thailand about the Article 112. So I think next week's case would be more perhaps positive, I think. And I think they might be able to get away with the case next week, because lots of questions would come back, not just domestic factors, because this is what the government would also have to consider, the way they interact with international communities, international institutions as well. So it's more than just domestic politics with the case next week.
Ajahn, could you please give us your analysis? If Move Forward Party found guilty next week, what will happen?
I think this is a kind of thing that progressive party in Thailand tend to be perhaps prepared for this kind of thing already. We have history of the solution of parties or political attack against progressive parties. I think they might have prepared some alternatives for what happened, and if the party was actually so, or the worst case scenario, then it would be also be a big backlash against the establishment as well. So I don't think it would be easy for the court to actually end with that conclusion to dissolve the Move Forward Party.
Yeah.
And one last question, how much hope do you still have for the Move Forward Party's future?
I think they can remain in politics, but I'm not so sure whether they would be under this name or change the name, because this is the pattern that we have seen in Thai politics. If they were dissolved, that would mean the end of the party. That could perhaps even make them stronger, like what we have seen with Future Forward and then Move Forward. And then if you have another forward, that might be something stronger.